Hi, you clicked onto today's tropical tidbit for Friday over here in the Atlantic. Main feature of interest is Hurricane Tomas over here. That did strengthen back into a hurricane coming in between Jamaica, Haiti, and eastern Cuba over here. We see that during the night fired a whole lot of convection, a very strong core, got pressure down to 985 millibars or so, and has since been unable to get any stronger than this. The core is still a little ragged, probably due to interaction with the high mountains of Haiti and Cuba over here as this passes through the triangle between these three countries. This is probably the better path that it could take because it's taking a mostly water path between everybody, not making a direct landfall. It may clip eastern tip of Cuba over here as it comes out, but this is one of the better paths you can get. What is not good is this is a bad path for rain for Hispaniola over here, and this is going to be the main problem for folks in here for massive flooding, which can occur in Haiti when tropical storms come running through. And this didn't make it up to a Cat 2. It's probably going to try to get to a Cat 2 as it comes through the Bahamas and gets out into here, but that's too late for my idea that this would be a Cat 2 coming into this area. So a little too weak on the intensity forecast over here, but you can see how it came back and how the fact that it was a naked swirl in here was not a reason to let your guard down in this area. Now look at this that's coming ashore. I mean, this is a lot of energy over here, and you can see that overall appearance is a little bit elongated because the energy got stuck down here a little bit. And you can see how this whole thing is sort of acting like a front. I need to show you this whole pattern over here. This is just incredible. Look at the flow coming out of Canada, northwest flow coming from Canada all the way to Panama. Look how it comes down through the continent, Gulf of Mexico, through the Caribbean, all the way to Panama before coming back up. This is insane what this trough is doing. Just look at the cool, dry air coming all the way down. This whole thing is acting like a front. And just to prove that I'm not lying to you, I mean, that's satellite imagery, but this is the model initialization. Look at the wind barbs coming down out of Canada all the way to Panama before coming back up. I mean, that envelope of low pressure is amazing. You just gotta appreciate this pattern. You gotta appreciate the lengths that the atmosphere is going to get heat out of the tropics. You want to get heat taken out of the tropics, this is the way you do it. I mean, this is amazing. This is the wind. Look at this. This is the intertropical convergence zone right here, and you have northwest winds coming into the convergence zone, making this look like a front in here. I mean, this is almost a degraded cold front down into the tropics near Panama over here, phasing with the intertropical convergence zone. I mean, this is pretty incredible over here. And this is just an amazing situation of taking energy out, how much energy has been available in here, and how much need there is for the atmosphere to take it out of the tropics and get it out of there, the lengths that it is going to do that. I mean, this is one heck of a trough, and you guys just have to appreciate how strong that is. One thing I want to show you really quickly is the 200 millibar winds anomalies from last week. This is the final week of October, and this is how we were setting up the situation for Tomas. You saw the big ridge out in the Pacific east of Japan. Remember, we had Meiji, we had typhoons Meiji and Chaba come out and recurve over here, and this was the idea that combined with the SOI pulses of upward motion in the eastern Pacific, that we were going to see a similar corridor of moisture that we had coming out of the western Pacific set up in here, and have a trough dive into the east and bring out energy out of the tropics. And you can see from the precipitation, here's the corridor of moisture that week that was coming out of the Pacific, and you can see things were just starting to fizzle in the Atlantic. And if we go now over to the model for the next 5 days, check out the corridor of moisture coming out of the tropics over here east of the United States. You can see the similarities, how it would teleconnect down the road. Precipitation coming up east of the continent in the Pacific has teleconnected a week later to precipitation getting drawn out of the tropics east of our continent here in the Atlantic. So you can see this forecast worked out pretty well. We got a hurricane to come out from east of 60 west, and the idea was that this would come out from east of 60 west, stall in here, and then get drawn north. That idea worked out just beautifully. Intensity forecast as this came up in here again was a little bit too low, but the idea was there, and folks in here were hopefully ready for that situation. And we may not be done. Tomas may not be the last piece of energy to get taken out of the tropics over here, because look at the upward motion forecast for the next 15 days. This is amazing. I mean, we haven't seen that kind of forecast for a long time for deep greens and whites over here. And you can see that the GFS ensembles are doing out to week 2. Notice the ridging over the Pacific. Big trough diving in the United States over here. This is this fall pattern that is continuing, which will eventually reverse during the winter and give you ridging in here and solid troughing into Alaska, Western Canada, and the Pacific Northwest. But for the fall right now, while the jet stream is still, the wavelengths are still shorter, you can get the trough in here, taking air out of the tropics. Your divergence is going to be high in here, which means you're going to get lower pressures. The Canadian is showing the same thing. Trough, big deep trough into the central eastern United States. Your divergence is in here as the air is getting taken out, so you're getting upper divergence, which is lowering the pressures. You can see sub 1010 millibar pressures in the Caribbean, and this is something we're going to have to continue watching. And how this is going to work probably is you get the upper motion here. You can see if we go back to the precipitation that we were showing, you notice how the corridor moisture is coming out. You see where the tut must be in the central Atlantic over here because of this batch of precipitation sitting out here. And the tut has been really aiding upward motion in the eastern Atlantic. What we're probably going to see is we're going to have your tut sticking its nose in here, starting off mischief in the eastern Atlantic, which can't do much at this time of year out to the east, but then this tries to sneak underneath and it gets handed off to the next area of upward motion that is supported by the trough over the eastern United States. And this is how we're going to get mischief in here, the area that can support tropical storms during November, but the intertropical convergence zone is still very active out here for this time of year farther north. So you get pieces generated out here, they sneak underneath and get handed off, and you get things like Tomas curving out and causing issues for the folks in here who tend to get hit in November more than anyone else. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that over the next couple of weeks. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.